Good Friday morning. I'm meteorologist Byron Douglas. Thank you for joining us here on our all streaming platform. Mitch will be along we'll take a look here at the news in a moment. Want to fast forward for a second. We're on Facebook here as well. Want to show you our next alert day. Our next alert day overall will cover Tuesday through Friday of next week. I'll take this full here for a second. And generally during that time frame, this is where we could see a heat wave, and then we're going to be looking at a heat index of 103 up to 111 during that time frame as we go into next week. So generally Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. This could even get started on Monday overall. We have the criteria for a heat advisory and then also an excessive heat warning during that time frame. So that would be Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And then over the weekend, we are going to have some chances for a few severe thunderstorms. Been taking a look here at this heat advisory that we have on the board. We do have a heat advisory still in effect for 3 of our counties across western Kentucky. As you get into McLean, Hopkins, and Muhlenberg counties, this will go until 7 p.m. There's a case to be made Sunday and Monday. We could see some additional advisories during that time frame. I'll take that full. This goes until 7. So if you're down through Sturgis at the Union County Fairgrounds, a little bit higher heat indices across western Kentucky. And this is how it sets up for our Friday. Overall, that feel-like temperature generally would be into the upper 90s for a heat index during that stretch. Now we want to highlight some of the flooding threats that we have here on the board. They're not at zero by any stretch. And of course, we had some flood warnings yesterday, mainly across western Kentucky. And good morning to you, Lacey, Tyler. You had some fog there this morning. Good morning to you, JT. So I'm seeing some of the comments here on our Facebook page. It is a level 1 threat for isolated flash flooding. Also, as we go into Saturday, we do have an elevated risk. It's a level 2 threat for the potential for some flash flooding, pretty much area-wide for your Saturday. Sunday, it kind of stretches north, scattered flash flooding possible. So we're starting to lead with this and not just emphasize what we get from the Storm Prediction Center, because we have those flooding threats. And again, they honored some first responders for helping out in Henderson from the flooding that we had earlier in the week. Now today, that threat for a few severe thunderstorms, I'll take this full again, sets up across western Kentucky. We could have a warning anywhere, these slow-moving storms that be lightning producers. Now we're not looking at a tornado threat or large hail overall. It's some brief damaging winds. So it's an isolated severe weather threat through that time frame. Now here's a look at the threat markers overall. And again, it's the flooding concerns, flash flooding potentially across the area, and the damaging winds generally along the Ohio River and then into western Kentucky. On Doppler radar, we have a little bit of lightning. That's where it's been for the last few hours. In the pre-dawn hours, we had some lightning in Union County. You get from Waverly up to about the Henderson County line. Keep in mind those low spots there near Waverly can flood pretty quickly. Haven't seen anything like that so far. And then up to about Mars Township, some lightning there. So we'll monitor these areas. And generally they're running from the southwest to the north and east. And some of the outflow east there of Corydon, as out towards the community college along 425, a little shower out towards Roberts in progress. But a lot of that lightning as we do a little downcastings down into the Morganfield area and points to the east. So that's what we're going to be dealing with as we go through the morning hours, and then we'll have a setup for some thunderstorms as we go into the afternoon. The main concern is that potential for flash flood warnings. That's what we experienced yesterday, and of course those heat advisories across western Kentucky. If you're doing any traveling, here's the wide view: Chicago, St. Louis, all these locations. Pretty good to go. Cincinnati, a little bit of lightning over there in those locations. Here's the latest guidance. Again, they underdo some of these storms, but I'll scoot this along pretty quickly. Some scattered pop-up showers and storms into the afternoon. Got some county fairs in progress. Got Friday after 5. And of course, if you're down in Sturgis, a few showers and storms. And then on Saturday, relatively quiet. This might be underdone a bit because I'm calling for a 70% chance of showers and storms on Saturday because that front's going to stall out. So this, we tried to highlight all week. Remember yesterday, everybody saw some rain. this might be a little undercooked, if you will. As we go into the afternoon and evening, some showers. Now it's showing a line in here at 5, 6 o'clock. Now if it holds off till that time frame, most of Saturday, for the most part, until later in the afternoon, looks dry. However, I'm a little circumspect about what I'm showing you here because these showers could set up early in the afternoon. So just factor that in if you're out boating, whatever you're doing. And then on Saturday, we do have a risk for a few severe thunderstorms. It sets up generally north of Interstate 64, Vincennes, Washington, Jasper. It's a level 1 threat with some of those outflow boundaries. On Sunday, and I thought about adding an alert day for Sunday because we're going to be dealing with the heat index 100 to 105. And we also have that potential for a few severe thunderstorms as we go through Sunday. So here's a look at Sunday. Again, the guidance, I think they're underperforming here just a bit as far as our showers and storms are concerned. And then I'm showing some in here on Sunday night. And then we're going to transition into a drier pattern as we go into next week. High pressure is going to build in. Now there's that chance for Sunday. I switched over to the European model here. And then we'll go to the 7-day forecast. Alert days are on the board. We're still considering some potentially on Sunday. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of next week, the heat is on. And I think definitely we'd have heat advisories, perhaps even excessive heat warnings. George from Centertown. Okay, Highway 85. That's near the old dairy freeze there in Island. That's what I'm thinking about right now when I think of Centertown and those locations. Lacey, thank you for the flash flooding. The Paducah had a warning there for Henderson County. Again, with those warnings, I'm just reading a few comments. And, all right, Tyler, $5 word. Yeah, circumspect. You can look that up. Don't ask me to spell anything. Mitch is going to be up here in a moment. I'll take the 7-day here full in a moment. But just keep in mind, with these flash flood warnings, if you're going out to a camp or anything like that, those low spots, have a game plan if you catch a flash flood warning. And remember, stay off the roadways. Mitch will be up in a moment.
Stay informed on your local news and weather throughout the day by watching the 14 First Alert streaming shows. At 8:30 a.m., get your First Alert forecast to plan the day ahead and catch up on the news that happened overnight with the 14 News Sunrise team. In the afternoon, get the latest headlines, forecasts, and a preview of the stories we're working on with the 14 First Alert streaming show at 2:30. And get an in-depth look at the 14 First Alert forecast so you're ready for the next big thing with the 14 First Alert weather show at 9 p.m. Watch the 14 First Alert streaming show that fits your schedule and works best for you. Streaming on your phone by downloading the 14 News app and the 14 First Alert weather app. On your smart TV by using the 14 News streaming app. And stream anytime on Facebook, YouTube, or on 14news.com. Stay connected and stay informed by watching the 14 First Alert streaming shows on your favorite streaming devices.
Well, good morning, and thanks for joining us for the news portion of our stream show here at 8:30 this morning. Of course, it is Friday. Thanks for joining us here. You just heard from Byron Douglas talking about the severe weather out there potentially we're keeping an eye on right now. But for us right now, going to talk about some of our news headlines. So getting right into it here. Those volunteering today have to deal with some rising summer temperatures here. Let me pull up some video up for you here. We're talking about a block-by-block cleanup event here. I'll pull this up for you. You can see the high heat has not slowed down members of the Wrights High School band, though, right? They've been on the field day in and day out, kind of prepping for the upcoming season. Let's go back to that. Here we go. The band staff there ensuring frequent water breaks, monitoring students for any signs of heat stress. Still, though, of course, it's a lot to be able to march, play an instrument there, and execute complex formations in this kind of weather. Members say, though, they are pushing through the discomfort driven by a collective ambition.
We're all doing it together, and, it's just the encouragement, I think, that gets on the band. And I think they're here with their friends. It's not like, one person's doing it and everyone's in the shade. Even the directors are out in the sun, up high on those towers. So we're all getting it. So we're just like, we're all a group.
Yeah, drum major Alex Joyce says it's not just about practicing notes and steps, it's about building resilience there and the power of teamwork. Now, coming back to me here, developing this morning, a state board has temporarily suspended the license of a Newburgh chiropractor as they investigate the Attorney General office is calling Aaron King a, quote, immediate and clear danger to the public. Arliss DeSantis reviewed those allegations there and talked to King's lawyers to get his side of the story.
Rob, Aaron King will not be allowed to practice as a chiropractor in Indiana for at least 90 days. Now, this comes as 2 former patients are bringing allegations of sexual misconduct against him. Police say a local criminal investigation into the matter is now closed, but the state attorney general's office is still looking into it to help decide what this means for the future of his practice. A Newburgh chiropractor's office at the center of an investigation. Aaron King owns and operates Axis Chiropractic. He attracts patients from across the nation thanks to his following on TikTok. This week, his accounts have gone dark.
What they are inferring is that somehow Dr. King is some type of child predator. And to be honest with you, it's probably one of the most offensive and reckless accusations I've seen in my entire career. There is zero evidence of it.
Documents filed by the Attorney General's office say King is a clear and immediate danger to the public. This comes as a former patient claims King sexually touched her during a massage at his home. Another patient claims he sent her nude photos when she was only 17.
He has no recollection of having ever met this person. This allegedly took place 5 years ago. Has Dr. King sent nude images of himself? He has. He has, and it's been purely consensual.
Brandon Danks is King's lawyer. He says the chiropractor appeared before the State Board of Chiropractors earlier this month to defend his license. While King admits to breaking state civil laws by having sexual relationships with 2 of his patients, Danks says he denies the allegations of assault.
He's going to take full responsibility for falling below his standard as a physician with respect to crossing that professional boundary.
The chiropractor won't be able to open his doors for at least another 90 days, while a state board weighs what to do next. In the meantime, Danks says the popular TikToker has faced a firestorm online.
These individuals online shared Dr. King's address. They shared what vehicle he drives. Dr. King's vehicle was vandalized.
The Evansville Police Department confirms they investigated the claims, even carrying out a search warrant of King's electronic devices. Officers say they submitted a report to the prosecutor, but no charges have been filed.
When we are told an allegation, we all assume it's true unless someone proves that it is false. Okay? I think Dr. King deserves a break here.
I did reach out to the patient who made the complaint to the Attorney General's office. Now, she says she's afraid of him and did not want to speak out publicly. Documents show a protective order was put in place against King after the patient claims he showed up at her house. Danks tells me they're weighing whether to file a defamation lawsuit against the woman. He says she offered to take $25,000 to drop all claims against King.
Well, certainly an active story there, and as that investigation continues there, we'll keep you updated right here on 14 News. And, of course, talking about this Friday here, looking into the weekend, you just heard Byron, like I said there, to keep this thing off at 8:30. Talking about some of the heat out there as well as the flood warnings. So speaking of that, happening today here, City of Evansville hosting another block-by-block cleanup event. Today's event's happening in the Lamasco neighborhood here. Of course, you might remember it was scheduled for earlier this year, but was canceled due to the weather out there. Officials say this morning cleanup is happening from 9 to 11, so only a couple of minutes left to get out there and get things rolling. Everybody that wants to volunteer is asked to gather at 11th Avenue Park. And right now we're coming up here on 8:44. It's 8:43 right now. So, of course, for those who joined us this morning, we appreciate you. And I know a lot of folks out there are concerned about the weather today and looking into the weekend. Of course, we had Byron Douglas there. It's a great reminder here, to download your 14 First Alert app. I know our meteorologists there do a great job of keeping that updated. That's Byron, Michael, Arden, and Jeff. They keep you updated there with the latest forecast and the latest headlines as far as weather goes. And, of course, at 2:30 today, between our noon and 4 o'clock show, we'll have another streaming show on with Jamie French and Robinson Miles, as well as a meteorologist of ours, talking about things. If those storms were to roll through here, they'll be right on top of it, letting you know the latest. But for now, it is Friday. Go out and enjoy yourselves. Of course, stay cool. It's very, very hot. If it starts to rain, stay dry. Take care of yourselves. We'll see you back here bright and early Monday morning at 8:30. Take care.